Welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to explain optimization of basic blocks. So in the earlier video I have completed these topics up to basic blocks. Let us start the next topic, optimization of basic blocks. So before that we should know what is a basic block. Basic block is a sequence of consecutive statements, set of statements in which the flow of control enters at the beginning and leaves at the end without any jump statement in between. That means a basic block consists a set of 3 address code statements in which the control enters at the beginning and leaves the block at the end only, and in between starting and ending of the block there should not be any branching statements, there should not be any halt statements. A number of transformations can be applied on the basic blocks to improve the quality of code. There are two important classes of local transformations, namely structure preserving transformation and algebraic transformation. In structure preserving transformation, the following techniques are used to make modifications to the basic blocks. 1. Common subexpression elimination, dead code elimination, renaming of temporary variables, and interchanging of two independent adjacent statements. So the common subexpressions elimination means within a block you can identify expressions that are being computed multiple times. So an expression can be computed multiple times, and since the last calculation, if we observe, the operands or variables involved in the expression are not changed, then we say that the expression is equals to earlier occurrence of expression, because that gives same result when I compute. So such common subexpressions can be identified and eliminated. Dead code elimination, we can find the unreachable code, unused or no result in the program code, and we can simply remove from that program. Renaming of temporary variables, this can be used sometimes where we want to minimize the number of copy statements. Next, last one, interchange of two independent adjacent statements. So I can change the order of their sequence so that the code can be simplified. So all these structure preserving transformations are performed based on DAG, directed acyclic graph. So to identify common subexpressions or dead code or copy statements, we will construct directed acyclic graph for a basic block or a program code or intermediate code, and accordingly we will identify transformations to be applied, and we can simplify the code. For example, we will use DAG representation here to do the first one, that is common subexpression elimination. So directed acyclic graph is a pictorial representation of the basic block. So a basic block can be represented by a pictorial notation or tree notation called directed acyclic graph. For example, we'll take this subexpression detection and elimination. Take this basic independent block. So it is the basic block. So in this basic block, 4 statements are here. M equal to n into p, n equal to m plus q, p equal to n into p, and q equal to m plus q. If you observe briefly, here n into p is computed twice. N into p is computed twice. So is a common sub-expression. Similarly, if we observe the m plus q expression, so it is also computed twice in the second line and also fourth line. So m plus q can be taken as common sub-expression. It is just by simple observation. But when we look at in depth, we can find out the exact common sub-expression and how this can be eliminated. So here, if we consider first one, n into p, here n into p value is calculated and going to be stored in the variable m. And next time in the third line, n into p is going to be computed again. So since the first statement, the variables applied in this expression n into p must not be changed to say that n into p is a common sub-expression and can be eliminated. So if we observe here, within the second statement, the n value is going to be changed. So n into p is not a common sub-expression. And similarly, take the second one, m plus q is going to be computed in the second line as well as fourth line. If we observe the fourth line and second line, since the second line, the operands applied in this expression m and q are operands applied, are not modified since the statement number 2. So the m plus q can be taken as a common sub-expression, and instead of computing twice here, we can compute only once and reuse the previous calculated value of expression m plus q. This process is called common sub-expression elimination. So this common sub-expression elimination can be easily done by DAG. See here. So from the analysis, we have identified that n into p is not a common sub-expression, but m plus q is a common sub-expression, because the expression m plus q gives the same result in the next repetitive appearance, because the values of operands involved in this expression, namely m and q, are not changed since the last expression calculation, since the last occurrence of same expression. Therefore m plus q is a common sub-expression. So by the observation we can find this, and how this can be calculated are observed by the DAG construction. Now construct the DAG for this. We take the first instruction, m equal to n into p. So I am going to draw tree structure for this first operation in this form. So n into p. So here n is a child node and p is also a child node, and star is the operator parent node. N into p is going to be computed, and whose result will be stored in the variable m. This is one subtree of the directed acyclic graph. Next, find the next instruction in the basic block. So n equal to m plus q. So I have to compute m plus q here. I have to compute m plus q. M can be used here. So therefore the extension will be like this. So m is going to be used to compute n value here. So n equal to m plus q. N is equal to m plus q. And next statement is n into p. P is equal to n into p. So further I can extend p is equal to n into p. So p is already used here. So I can take from this help directed acyclic graph. So why we have mentioned n and q here means n equal to m plus q and q equal to m plus q. See the original statement. Original statement. So n equal to m plus q as well as q equal to n plus q. These two are common sub-expressions. So m plus q and m plus q both are said to be common sub-expressions. So second one can be eliminated and previous m plus q value can be used here. So that is the meaning of this construction. So after construction, each parent node can have two operands, suppose here. So we say that n and q are common sub-expressions. So I can eliminate one of them, or which comes next. So the simplified basic block is shown below. So m equal to n into p and n equal to m plus q and p equal to n into p. Here m plus q is a common sub-expression and computed q equal to m plus q once again. So this can be eliminated here and will be reused here. This will be reused here. So that we have eliminated common sub-expression, that is m plus q calculation second time. So this is called common sub-expression elimination. So like this, to apply structure preserving transformations, first we will construct the directed acyclic graph and accordingly find out the transformations, apply them so that the code will be minimized. Second one, use of algebraic identities. So algebraic transformations can be used to simplify the set of expressions calculated by basic block. So within a basic block we have number of expressions, number of statements, and those expressions can be simplified by applying the various algebraic rules, algebraic transformations. So see the first one, identity rules. The following identities can be applied on the corresponding expression. Suppose in a given expression there is a statement, there is a sub-expression like a plus 0. It can be written as a, so that the expression will be minimized, simplified. If the expression contains sub-expression a into 1, then it can be written as a, because a into 1 is always 1. So a by 1 also gives a. So wherever this kind of sub-expression exists in the pre-address code, I can simplify by this format. Second one, by applying strength reduction. This is done by replacing higher strength operators by lower strength operators if possible. For example, if there is a expression like 2 into a, and this can be written as 2 plus a, because both give same result. Similarly, if there is an expression a by 2, and it can be written as a into 0.5. Here we are doing, in the first one we are doing multiplication is something expensive than addition. So I can replace this multiplication by addition. Similarly, in the second example, the division is replaced by multiplication. So like this, strength reduction and simplify the code. See, constant folding. So like this constants calculation usually done at runtime. If we do it at compile time, then we can save the time during execution. So this is called constant folding. So a equal to 2 into 5.4 is actually statement in the 3 address code. Suppose it can be simplified as this one by simply writing the result of that expression. I can able to simplify. Fourth one, by applying associative and commutative rules, we can also simplify the code sometimes. For example, consider code x equal to y into z and t equal to z into r into y. So we can simplify this like this second statement can be written as t equal to y into z into r, suppose, and y into z can be replaced by x. So like this I can simplify. So how this is done means, by commutative law we can write y into z equal to z into y. So whatever it is, y into z can be written as z into y in mathematical notation. Similarly, by associative law we can write z into r into y is equal to z into y into r. So I am going to apply those. So take the first one, I am going to simplify that. First line is same, x equal to y into z. Second one, t equal to actually z into r into y. So I am going to modify this as z into y into r, so that I can use x value instead of z into y. So the simplified code will be like this: x equal to y into z, t equal to x into r. Here x equal to y into z. So by this method I can simplify the code. This is about the concept optimization of basic blocks. See the next topic, flow graphs. In the global optimization, we will use the concept of flow graphs. We will construct a flow graph and try to find out the transformations can be applied. So see what is flow graph. If we add the flow of control information to the set of basic blocks of a program to construct a directed graph, then that graph is called flow graph. That means for any 3 address code we can write the basic blocks. If we add the flow of control information to the set of basic blocks, so how the flow enters from one block to another block, that graph is called flow graph. The nodes within the flow graph represents the basic blocks usually. So each block is a node in flow graph, and there exists a directed edge from block B1 to block B2 if B2 is immediately follows B1 in some execution sequence. And we can also say that in this sequence B1 is a predecessor of B2. That means the flow graph will be having this kind of flow of control sequence, suppose B1 B2. So after executing B1, B2 is going to be executed. So B1 is one block and B2 is another block. So we can say that B1 is a predecessor of B2, as well as B2 is a successor of B1 in this relation. For example, take this code and try to construct the flow graph. So before constructing a flow graph, first we have to write the 3 address code for this. So its corresponding 3 address code is, so first one, sum equal to 0 is going to be calculated, condition verified, if true then loop body is going to be executed. So this is one statement, sum equal to 0, and another one is this one. So I can divide it into two blocks. The reason is we know how to define a basic block by a algorithm. We have to find out ladder statement, and each ladder statement forms another block. So this is block 1 and this is block 2. The corresponding flow is, so B1 is going to be executed first, thereafter B2 is going to be executed. The corresponding flow graph can be represented like this. So B1 is one block, suppose, whose code is sum equal to 0, and B2 whose code is this one. So the flow graph will have the flow of control between basic blocks of the 3 address code. This is called flow graph. Next, global flow analysis. In global flow analysis, a program is represented in the form of flow graph. So what is flow graph? We know. So flow graph is a graphical representation of the 3 address code in which each node represents basic block and edges represents the flow of control from one block to another block. So flow graph contains a collection of basic blocks and corresponding flow of control information. And there are two types of analysis performed on the flow graphs in the process of global optimization. The first one is control flow analysis. The control flow analysis is used to determine the information regarding various elements like presence of loops, nesting loops, nodes visited before execution of specific node, arrangement of graph nodes, etc. So by calculating all these information, or by doing all these analysis on the flow of control information, we can recommend some transformations. That means based on the control flow information, control flow analysis, the global transformations are determined and applied to optimize the program code. So in control flow analysis, we will analyze how the control flows from one block to another block. Accordingly, we can determine what are the transformations, modifications to be applied among the blocks and apply them to optimize the program code. This is called control flow usage. Second, data flow analysis. Here the analysis is done based on the data flow of the program to determine the transformations to be applied on the program code. So we'll observe the data flow, variables, constants or expressions, calculation, and various issues belonging to data flow. And this data flow analysis uses data flow properties to calculate the values of data involved in the consideration. So the data flow property represents certain information regarding usefulness of the data item for the purpose of optimization. So by this data flow analysis or data flow property, we can able to detect what are the useful expressions, what are the available expressions, or what are the useful variables or dead variables, live variables, or reachable definitions, or dead code. So like this we can able to find out all these things, and accordingly we can do the simplification. The data flow properties are shown below. Reaching definitions. So by this reaching definition calculation code, unreachable code in the program, so that can be eliminated. Available expressions. So by this property you can able to find out common sub expressions throughout the program, and corresponding global changes can be done so that program code will be simplified. Next, live variables. So dead variables can be identified, live variables can be identified by this property. Next, busy expressions can also be calculated. So by using all these properties, global transformations are recommended or determined and applied to minimize the program code. And what is the basic optimization process? What is the broad view of that? Means the optimization process consists of these sequence of steps. Analyze the control flow on the program. So perform the control flow analysis and then perform the data flow analysis. So from the properties calculated in the control flow analysis as well as data flow analysis, determine the transformations to be applied. Transformations means simplifications to be applied on the program code and apply them accordingly so that the efficient code or the code can be simplified to produce efficient code. So this is called optimization process. See the next topic. Global optimization or code improving transformations applied in global optimization. So global optimization means look at the total code of the program or set of blocks of the program and try to apply some modifications so that code will be minimized. Global transformations use information about the entire program, and there are several transformations applied in the global optimization, and some of them are shown below. First one, elimination of global common subexpression. Second one, copy propagation, deletion of loop invariant computations and code motion, and elimination of induction variables. See the first one. Elimination of global common expressions. So here earlier we have defined that one property of data flow analysis is available expressions. So by this property you can able to determine what are the common subexpressions or global common subexpressions. So the available expressions calculated in the data flow analysis allows us to determine whether an expression at a point P in a flow graph is a common subexpression or is not a common subexpression. If it is common subexpression, you can simply eliminate this or remove this, and instead of that I can use the value that is computed in the previous occurrence of the expression. For example, take this flow graph and try to eliminate the global common subexpressions. So this is a flow graph. Flow goes from block 1 to block 2. Suppose this is block 1 and this is block 2 suppose. So from block 1 and block 2 the control flows. In the block 1 we have a statement T1 equal to 4 into K, T2 equal to A of T1, and block 2, this is block 2, I have T5 equal to 4 into K. So here I have 4 into K, and also here I have 4 into K. So this is said to be common subexpression or global common subexpression, means the expression that is used in more than one block is called global common subexpression. If it is used within the same block many times, then that is called local common subexpression. We will apply that same transformation in the local optimization process. Here among the blocks we can identify the common subexpression 4 into K. So 4 into K is computed in the block B1 and also block B2. So in block B2 we are going to compute 4 into K, but I will get the same value because the k variable is not modified since the last occurrence of expression 4 into k. So it will give the same result. So we know that, and 4 into k is a common subexpression and can be modified as shown below. The code will be like this. So m equal to 4 into k, t1 equal to m, t2 equal to t1. So here I am using some variable m, additional variable m, and wherever I have the repetition occurrence of the expression 4 into k, next time I will use their m instead of 4 into k. So I am using t5 equal to m, t6 equal to a of t5 as block b2. So like this we have eliminated 4 into k expression calculation twice in the program, so that we can do it only once, use any number of times. This is called global common subexpression elimination. Next one, copy propagation. The assignment statement of the form a equal to b is said to be copy statement. So is ordinary statement a equal to b. And the idea behind this copy propagation transformation is that it is better to use b for a where for every possibility after copy statement a is equal to b. Suppose a equal to b is used, defined somewhere or used somewhere, and after that I am using a, suppose. So instead of using a, I can directly use b, so that I can minimize this, I can eliminate this copy statement but achieve the same result. For example, see the code. T equal to x3 is block b1, and a of t1 equal to t2, and a of t4 equal to x. Next, second block, this is block 2, y equal to x plus 3, and a of t5 equal to y. If you observe here, one assignment statement is there, copy statement is there, x equal to t3. So I am going to define or going to copy t3 value to x. I am using x here as well as here. Okay. So this copy statement can be minimized. Copy statement can be eliminated, suppose. In which way means, instead of using x, I can directly use t3 wherever x is supposed to be used. So from that process I can simplify the code like this. So here x equal to t3 is a copy statement. The copy statements are calculated from the data flow analysis property called use definition. So here x equal to t3 is a copy statement, and in the third line, block 1, I am using x. So instead of that I am using t3. Similarly, in block b2, y equal to t3 plus 3. Here x is replaced by t3. So like that I am simplifying the code, and further it can be simplified as a of t1 equal to t2. So no need of x here. I can simply eliminate this. What is the necessity of assigning to x and using x somewhere? Instead of that, I can directly use t3 wherever I want x. That is the solution. So a of t1 equal to t2, and a of t4 equal to t3. Directly I am using t3 instead of x. Similarly, y equal to x plus 3 is there. Instead of x I am using t3, and a of t5 equal to y. So this can be simplified in this manner. Third one, deletion of loop invariant calculations and code motions. So what is the loop invariant calculation? If there exists some expression in the loop condition whose result remains unchanged even after executing the loop several times, then such an expression can be placed outside the loop. Usually loop will have two things, loop condition and body of the loop. So condition is going to be evaluated many times. So when there is an expression in the loop condition, and when I compute that, it will give the same value, so that can be removed. Second case, and the variables or expressions whose value will not be changed in the loop body can also be eliminated from the loop body and can be placed or can be moved to outside the loop. For example, see here, a flow graph is shown. So this flow graph contains two blocks, B1 and B2, and here B1 contains A equal to 20, B equal to 10, I equal to 1, and B2 is a block that is going to be repeated several times because it is a loop. So T equal to A by B, K equal to I plus T, I equal to I plus 1, if I equal to I is less than or equal to 10, go to B2. If you observe here, T equal to A by B is going to be computed many times in each iteration. So first time I'll execute this, and loop is going to be repeated. Next time I have to again compute the T equal to A by B. But when you compute T equal to A by B many times, I will get the same result, because since the last application A and B values are not modified. So if I compute A by B, I will get the same result. It is called, it is unnecessary. So I can move this code to outside the loop, or simply like this. It is moved to previous block. I can add it to previous block, but I will get the same meaning. I am using T here. So K equal to I plus T. K equal to I plus T directly. I am eliminating this T equal to A by B and moving to B2. So from B2 is eliminated, A by B calculation is eliminated, and it is moved to B1. So that we can simplify the loop execution, where the T equal to A by B is going to be calculated only once here, whereas earlier in the given basic block T equal to A by B is computed several times. So we have saved that, simplified the code. Last one, elimination of induction variables. What is induction variable? A variable X is called as induction variable of loop L if the value of that variable gets changed every time during loop iterations. So if the value of a variable is going to be modified in each and every iteration of the loop, then that variable is called induction variable. If there are multiple induction variables in a group, in a loop, then it is better to reduce them into one variable, one induction variable if possible, so that we can save the execution time. For example, see the code. So in this code is a flow graph. Actually this flow graph contains two basic blocks, B1 and B2. Suppose B2 is a loop and it contains two induction variables I and T1, because the values of I and T1 get changed in every iteration of the loop. So these are called induction variables. So it is better to, multiple induction variables are there, it is better to simplify the code so that the loop contains only one induction variable. So up to now we have we have discussed code optimization chapter. In the next video we will discuss code generation. Thank you.